Yo, what's up guys? Got a VOD here from the Star Team competition from Stars War 10 in Xi'an, China. This was a match of Korea versus China with a prize money of $10,000. They just played this weekend of 26-27 August. And we've got a match here of Korea versus China. The starting players... Actually, it's not exactly Korea versus China, is it? It is Moon's team against Sky's team. Because FoCuS is also from Korea. It's not a nationally split team. It's maybe it's like the players they picked. Maybe they picked from a draft or they were predetermined, something like that. But the way it comes down to is this. It's a King of the Hill format. So it's Moon versus FoCuS first, and whoever wins this advances to the next. I'm pulling this from the Chinese streaming website called Douyu. It's a best of one, winner stands, for a total of 4 victories. So the show match will end with any score between 4-3, 4-2, 4-1, or 4-0, or the other way. So let's see how they are getting on. Moon, always an incredible player. FoCuS was actually his main orc practice partner. When I was competing with Moon back in the days, 2K5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, FoCuS was his preparation partner. And I got to see just how he prepares for that one time. When I was rooming with Moon for World Esports Games 2006 in Hangzhou, China. It was an event that asked 1 month of players' time, which back then was incredible. Now I don't really see myself doing that anymore. But back then, the longer the better in a way. Even though I did think it's long then as well. It's long, but it is it's awesome because, well, you get to hang out with the other players and play like 1 game every 3 days. So it gave a lot of time to prepare. They had 2 players per hotel, and they asked how you want to room. I had a teammate there, so I figured we're probably going to room together. But my teammate instantly requested to room with Zakard instead. Which it makes sense, you know, Zakard is a cool guy, much cooler than me. And I guess we're not the best of friends, my teammate and I. So that left me with an automatically allocated teammate or something, or maybe Moon decided, or maybe the event decided, I don't know exactly what. So that's how it ended up, that I would end up rooming with Moon. And the funny thing is, Moon had a match against my teammate. And for me, I'm very loyal to my team, even though my teammate was not. So, and I'm also not a cheater. But I'm thinking, if I was, wouldn't Moon feel concerned that we're sitting next to each other? Because we're actually practicing in the hotel room. Wouldn't he be concerned that I, as a 4Kings member, would observe his practice against human, which he could then later unleash on my teammate? Wouldn't he think that I'm going to rat out his strategies? Even though I wouldn't, because I actually liked Moon more than my teammate, plus I think it's unethical. But wouldn't he be worried? And in order to address the elephant in the room, I asked Moon, don't you want to like hide your monitor or something? Or do you want to like take turns practicing so I don't get to see or whatever? Like, aren't you worried basically about showing strategies? And then he faced to me. I trust you. I thought, okay, that settles it then. Alright, that settles it. And sure enough, I saw him practice, and then I also got to see how he practices. Who was your teammate, Todd? Yeah. Then I got to see how he practices. So basically, he would have his practice partner, and he would play like 8 different builds in 8 different games. You know, there's a lot of different ways to practice. Think of like someone looking to shoot the ball as hard as possible, whatever sport. It could be like American football, kick it. It could be practicing your throws. It could be hitting the tennis racket for the service. And you do it over and over and over to build strength, right? That's not what he was doing. Maybe he does that sometimes. I didn't get to see it. what he was doing, pulling from the gigantic library of his brain and playing 8 different things, then thinking about it. It seems like he goes into like a trance or a meditation. He would think about it, and then he would like nod to himself, and that's when he would pick which one worked the best, and that's the one he would end up using in the tournament. So even if I had been a bad actor, which I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to know anyway which one he was going to use. Any findings reported would be like, well, it could be one of these 8 builds. So maybe that's partially, maybe he always practices like that. Or he figured, I don't care what you say, because I'm just going to do 8 different things anyway, and then I'm going to work it out in my brain for the rest with sleep learning and memory, you know, rehearsal, whatever. So, yeah, his brain is just too big. But I did get a sense that that's really how he practices. I also saw him practice against FoCuS, even though I was an orc player as well, and he could essentially reveal how he plays for his matches against me, and we would actually end up meeting in the tournament. When we were in a room together, he was still playing the group stage, and he was meeting another orc player. I don't know who, maybe it was Fly, maybe it was Lin, or Zakard or whatever. Maybe it was Zakard. I don't think Lin was there yet. And he also did the same thing, 6 different openings. And when I played against Moon in 2004, I had a 7-game practice session against him in September before the World Cyber Games. He also practiced 7 games with me with 7 different starting heroes. And I lost every single one. I mean, if you had to do like a GigaChat dominance establishment play, it would definitely be winning a game and then taking increasingly ridiculous heroes and winning with them. Warden first, Beastmaster first, Firelord first, Priestess first, Demon first, Keeper first. You know, just to show it's not the hero, bro. It's me. Basically, he did a good deed on me. So I really like his playstyle. I like how he sees the game. I've got a game of him against FoCuS here. Compared to Moon, FoCuS is a choir boy. He has micro, he has strategies, he's got, you know, he's got his mechanics, but he's nothing compared to Moon in the sense of his flexibility, his strategy. So I expect if they both have a game that they prepare for, I expect Moon to come out on top 10 out of 10 times. I think the best games FoCuS has had against Moon is where he played his cheese, Blade, Naga, Tinker, with Burning Oil and Fortified Towers, towering the middle of the map on Turtle Rock and then inching towards Moon. Sometimes he would win, sometimes he would lose. It was almost always 40-minute plus games. And when Moon won, it was usually via eventually being able to squeeze out Chimera, because the Talons struggled into a factory, towers, and Burning Oil catapults. We see here a pretty fast expansion from Moon. And FoCuS going with a counter expansion. A bit later, of course. It's just the dynamic of how the races work. The Huntress flow made FoCuS go for a early Wind Rider, which has the damage type and the flying advantage over Huntresses. This will force Moon to start adding archers. Even though both Keeper and Alchemist have a natural anti-air attack, despite Alchemist being a melee hero. I'm also noticing really cool stats in this particular overlay that's coming in from China. Do you see the numbers under the portraits? It's how much damage they've dealt. That's so cool to see. Is that just damage on heroes or against anything? Looks like it's against anything. So how much damage have they tanked? How much damage have they dealt? You can see Blade Master really is a powerhouse. It's these kind of stats that I wish, in a better world, a better universe, Blizzard would have added these and have them active if you buy Blizzard Plus. You can see it during the game. just for a little bit of extra fun continuity and analytics. And then you can see them after the game and stuff. It would actually help you learn the game better, because you'll know how much damage your blade did. So when you go on like a crazy shopping spree and you buy 6 claws of attack, you'll know like, oh, okay, this is what it did. And how much healing they received is of course from healing salve and heal wave. Blizzard adding something new, XD. Yeah. It even shows the little number of how much mana they have. It's a small enough number to be pretty innocuous, not very easily noticeable, but for the astute observer that wonders, can Moon's Keeper entangle? You'll know when it's 74 that he's one mana away. It doesn't disturb the play, but you know where to look for it, and you can get a little bit of extra data. It's great for the advanced high IQ viewer, which pretty much if you watch Warcraft 3 you pretty much are. A little bit of extra cool data makes for a great viewing experience. Heal spray doing a great number there, keeping those units alive. We've got 2-1 upgrades for the Huntresses and Archers. There's a serious number advantage for Moon here. But even as I say that, FoCuS is doing better than you would think. He did land a bit too much damage though on the illusions. Surround attempt on the Shadow Hunter. He speed scrolls away. Tries to get away. He gets acid bombed. One single hit could end his career. But I think the natural healing regeneration for Shadow is high enough to survive. Look, when a hero drops low, then and only then does it show the exact HP count. What a great overlay. I'm gonna ask them if I can get some kind of playable version from this, as the W3 booster overlay hasn't been working as much. I don't know if this is open source or they spent a lot of money on this to develop it and want to keep it exclusive, but the least I can do is check to see if it's available for us to use, either for casting or for playing. Of course, not having the enemy data visible when playing. It looks really busy though. Yeah, it is more busy, but all the info is there. I wonder if it's scalable, where you can turn some things off. Shadow Hunter comes back. He doesn't have Hex, so there's no Hex blow-up potential on the Keeper or anything like that. Moon has decimated FoCuS's economy, smartly putting 2 Huntresses on the Shadow to interrupt clarity and healing salves. Now going for the Great Hall. He takes it. He TP's out, sitting at a 60 population advantage over 35. And now 2 bases versus 1. This might be the start of a fruitful clan war, a fruitful team battle for Moon if he can take this first W. Orc Elf on Echo Isles is pretty competitive. I find it quite balanced. There's some tougher maps for Orc. This is one of the better ones, especially the new Echo Isles that was co-developed alongside Save Orcas and the W3 Champions map team and some Hive Workshop map makers. Echo Isles had been stale for a long time. Historically, there were only 2 versions. The initial one, with 2 mana fountains and a healing fountain. No, 2 healing fountains and a mana fountain. This Murk camp was a healing fountain on both sides. And then the marketplace in the middle tab was a mana fountain. It was a horribly unbalanced map and I loved it. I always played double Spirit Lodge there, which is also what I did in the 3-on-3 show match today. Because when you have that much mana, as Orc, who have some of the best casters that aren't good. So they have some of the best casters that aren't good. Why? Because Orc hasn't got mana regen. No Brilliance Aura, no Moonwells, and no statues. So you've got these Shamans and Doctors, they're great casters, but you never have enough mana to spam their abilities. And Orc abilities are so spammable. Right? Unlike like Talents, who will Fairy Fire and Cyclone pretty much mostly during combat, Orc casters, you can do all kinds of things outside of combat. From the casual player's favorite, Healing Ward, to the pro player's best weapon, Sentry Ward, and then the kind of underdog spell, Stasis Ward. If you can spam any of those, it's so good, right? Same with Bloodlust and Lightning Shield. The more Lightning Shield you put, the more likely you're going to be casting so much damage on the enemy units. Sky's the limit. You can just cast it on every single archer. It's going to be hell for the opponent to try and micro that. 74 population. Protection scroll. There's healing spray. There's heal scroll. Looks like Moon will be able to take this. He's going to go for the surround on the blades a bit. Realizes there's invul pots, so he doesn't finish him. Dutifully trying to focus the serpent wards so that his huntresses don't take too much damage from the snakes. They never get auto-focus serpent wards. That's how micro works in Warcraft 3. So you have to take care of them yourself. And he does. No more mana on the shadow. That's a GG. Moon 1-0.
恭喜一下木战队是拿下了第1分啊！这盘木的发挥也是相当的好。
是的，也恭喜莫文战队啊，先下一城。可以说这一局是真的打的是稳扎稳打，尤其是前中期的那一波干扰吧，我觉得十分关键。
This one is Moon.
Hey, Grubby.
Fly. Remind. This is Lin. Moon and Lin. So much skill in one video. This is FoCuS 120.
是的，但是他因为兽族其实第一偏黑，地图是比较黑，而且木是一个他战术变化多端的选手啊。你如果剑圣本体去侦查的话，有的
Moon was a free win for you always. No, not at all. We had many great matches. It was so hard. This one's Grubby.
刚才啊是莫文先下一城。
GG.
那在下
Hope
一
you
局，
enjoyed this replay review. See you next time. Sub to the grub.
做出一些。